Getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows.
Greetings, race fans, and welcome back to Sim Racers Group Formula 4 Racing on SMB. JR Gregory here with you on the call, along with my partner Kennen Miller and our producer Marty Czekala. And as 2025 Season 3 reaches its conclusion, the Week 12 finale finds us in Southern Florida at Sebring International Raceway. And this facility began life as Hendricks Army Airfield from 1941 to 1946, and when World War II ended, gearheads do what they do when they see acres of unused tarmac. They create a racetrack. Alex Ullman, was the guilty party here, striving to build an American racing facility to rival Cirque de la Sarthe in Le Mans, France. And the first endurance race was indeed held here in 1950. That is 75 years ago on the dot, and since that time, Sebring has played host to Formula One, as well as the World Endurance Championship, IMSA, American Le Mans Series, Camel GT, Trans Am, and many, many more. In today's configuration, 3.7 miles, just over 6 clicks, and 17 corners. Our current lap record is a 141.8, set in 2019 by Kobayashi in a Toyota LMP1 machine, and feels to me like that one is going to be safe for a while. And Kennen, few tracks scream American road racing like Sebring, and to me it's going to be fascinating how these machines and their drivers cope with the slick and bumpy surface as well as the Florida sun today.
Yeah, absolutely, JR. Sebring is by far a world-renowned racetrack. Everybody looks forward to going here, and certainly one of the best racetracks we have in North America. I think every driver is excited to be here to wrap up the season with week 12. There's quite a bit going on with the points and all, so it should be pretty intense racing. And so far, just over 5 minutes left in practice. The top four are only separated by 4/10. So seeing pretty good competition right now, and I think it's going to be a pretty exciting race. Usually this is a favorite of all the drivers, so they've certainly done a lot of laps here previously to just tonight, and they really seem to have a good handle on the track.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a good one here as well. And you mentioned the points. Let's go ahead and look those over. And Josh Leslie, if you're just joining us, sewed this one up a couple of weeks ago and actually made the move to our Formula 3 series, which is broadcast tomorrow night. So after 10 races, Leslie had it sewed up mathematically with 215 points. So now it's really a race for P2. Adam Duvall there. You see him there in P2, followed by Meyer, Conway, and Van Wagner. And all of those drivers pretty close together. Now, these scores do include some drop weeks, so any movement is going to be small movement, but there is a chance for some of these positions to swap around. We got Novice from Guyton, from Swanbeck, from Glasser, from Ryan Chia to round out the top 10. Then it's Hyde, Vase, Michael Wynn, Trantham, Hagen, Sumudio, Clark, and Cy Nathan are 18-point scorers in the league for this season. So there could definitely be some movement out here. And I'll tell you what, Kennen, I'm a GT3 driver, as I probably say too frequently, but these F4 cars actually do pretty well out here. And as a sports car driver, you kind of have to have faith that they're going to have grip in some places that are nerve-wracking in a GT3 car. And I'm talking specifically Sunset Bend. These things can really hustle through there, and turn one as well. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that depending on fuel load and track temperature, turn one is flat in these things. So we're going to see some gut checks on that entry into turn one. We're going to see some side-by-side entries and some folks rolling the dice here in the season finale, trying to take advantage of their last opportunity to move up in the points.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of long straights at this racetrack. Like you said earlier, 3.64 miles. There's 17 different turns, and there's a lot of different passing opportunities. Certainly the hairpin is one of the most famous ones, but there's a lot of sections in the track where it really opens up, and then it seems to get really nice and narrow. So certain areas you have to have give and take, definitely through the S's, as well as getting through Le Mans, getting onto the Ulman Straight. So they're looking at a weather-wise, it's a pretty cool track. It's been kind of cloudy for practice. The sun has actually just kind of peaked itself out here in the last few minutes. But overall, it's a cool track, 78 degrees, and they ought to have plenty of grip out there. So, yeah, I think you're right. Turn one probably be flat out. It'll really test who's willing to give it all. And right now we're seeing a pretty good fight in practice for the top four.
The drivers, as you can see from our weather widget there on the screen, they are getting a break so far in terms of track temperature. I'll tell you, if we were there right now, I'm saying it would be in the middle of the day a little bit hotter than 92 at Sebring, but they are, or I didn't, 878 rather at Sebring. 92 was the humidity. So while they get a break from the track temperature, they're not getting a break from the humidity, and that can get the track a little on the greasy side as well. But as practice winds down here, we've got about 90 seconds remaining in this practice session, and we'll jump into a 15-minute open quali. And we're taking a look at Dan Swanbeck right there. And I'm not sure who he's following in the red car. I can't quite make out that number, but Swanbeck, definitely one of the drivers who we expect to see up at the pointy end of the grid right now, sitting in P6 in terms of practice. But as Kennen pointed out, only a half second off of Duvall, who has the fast time in practice at a 2:05.4, and that is cooking pretty well around this track, Kennen.
Yeah, they've really got some good times here. And just kind of going back to the weather, we do have an 11-mile-an-hour wind out of the northwest, and these cars are very light. They don't rely on a ton on aerodynamics, but that's a pretty strong wind for these cars. That'll definitely make some of the faster corners a little bit tougher to handle depending on which way the wind's kind of coming. So it's been pretty interesting so far in practice. I think qualifying will only get it even better. We've seen pretty close lap times. Everybody wants to go out with a win, so you're going to see a lot of people pushing it, and Jose Navas just with a absolutely wild ride and a massive impact into the wall. Prepare themselves. He'll probably go back to the pit roads here, but in the race he'll be able to carry on.
Yeah, Navas going to need some Tylenol after that one. You saw his fast hands almost gather that one up, but a little too hot, caught some curb, caught some air, and off he went. And here is a look at Edgar Lau. That is a name that I am not familiar with. So Edgar may be joining this fantastic Sim Racers Group league here in week 12 to get warmed up for the next season, which just starts here in a couple weeks, going to be broadcast here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. So stay with us, and we will stay with Sim Racers Group for more of this fantastic open wheel competition. And as I said before, we've got 2 series going. We've got the F4 series tonight, the F3 series tomorrow night. We'll be talking about that a little bit more when we get to our upcoming schedule. But it looks like the iRacing gods have scrolled the universe, and we are now jumping into a qualifying session, and looks a little cloudier, Kennen. They may be getting an even better track temp right now as we begin qualifying. We're taking a look at Navas again, shaking off that big crash. And yeah, the track's a little cooler at 77, still pretty humid there at 93%. And we'll see what these guys and gals can get going here in quali.
Yeah, I think you'll see a lot of people try and go out and do a lap early. I don't just looking at what its forecast said, the track temp will warm up a little bit, especially with the cars running on it, put some heat in it. But just the sun will come out, I think, just barely before the end of qualifying and through the start of the race. So it's better to probably take advantage early and get a good lap time in. We do see it a lot, though. It'll certainly be a very tough battle here at Sebring. The off tracks do disqualify your lap time, and this track is certainly one that pushes you to the limits, and it's quite easy to get an off track and see your time get disallowed from the board. So you have a lot of drivers out here. They'll certainly be pushing. And as we always kind of mention, the game of tires, you'll probably more than likely at a track like Sebring, with just how rough the surface is, the bumps the cars have to go over, drivers probably about halfway will reload on fresh tires and try and maybe see if they can get a little more out of the car.
Yeah, we have not been seeing a lot of that, probably a little less than you might expect. And I'm by no means an expert in these cars, but I have noted that the tires kind of get in the sweet spot 2 or 3 laps in, and it can be worthwhile to duck in even on tracks like Sebring that are kind of a longer lap. When you do that, you are throwing away your in lap, throwing away your out lap, and throwing away at least 1 lap getting it warm. But we'll go ahead and take a ride with Navas here going into Sunset Bend. A million lines through this corner, and whoop! Navas getting camera shy there. You saw the bumps going across the apex. We'll switch over to Adam Duvall in that NASA car, and he gets through Sunset a little better. Very, very bumpy on the inside, so you may see these drivers kind of shy away from that inner curb. And here's where I was talking about turn 1. You got to start way to the right and open up that corner. Duvall there, leaving quite a bit of the entry on the table there, but that should be flat once the tires are hot, especially with a lightened fuel load. Then we'll go through this 3, 4, 5 combination. Very tricky. You want to kind of cozy up to the curbs, cuddle up to them, but you don't want to kiss them or they'll smack you, and you got to get a good run down here into the hairpin turn 7. And Kennen, you mentioned this as a potential overtake, and you've got to be pretty brave on the brakes to go hot into this corner, and with no ABS, being really strong under braking is one thing that tends to separate these drivers.
Yeah, it's certainly a way that you can get into the corners a lot more. You don't have the technology that sometimes gives you a little bit of an advantage, like you see in some of the higher tier cars. So it does allow this to really be a driver's race, a driver's car, driver's track, and that's kind of how we'll see it sort of separate itself, especially in the qualifying classifications, I suppose we can call it.
Yep, and we'll go back to Duvall now, still with him as he goes through Tower, another very challenging corner, a lot of lines through that one. And again, you want to kind of widen out the exit and kind of flirt with that exit curb and the dirt out there. Very, very challenging. The last section here, Le Mans, you can cut those raised curves, but these cars can get a little bit corner hooked right here. And here's one of the critical corners on the track to get right there, get the power on nice and early, let the car go all the way wide to that alternate color curbing on the exit. And again, Duvall just leaving a little bit on the track here. We'll see how he chooses to go through Sunset Bend here. He's going to keep it wide, stay off the bumpy stuff, and then tighten it up at the end. Power down right here, and a very nice looking line there through Sunset. Although again, Duvall playing it cautious here, leaving quite a bit of track on the table and keeping it away from that concrete barrier, which is quite, as you might imagine, unforgiving.
Yeah, 3 seconds off of his fastest lap time in practice, which certainly has me a little bit shocked. But like we kind of saw, was a little bit of conservative through that. And there's Greg Meyer to the top of the board. He gets into the 205s right away. So I think Adam Duvall wanted to make sure he put down a lap time. He knows how difficult it can be, and we've noted the off tracks. So, it'll be quite difficult, and I think he'll certainly find time improved there.
Yeah, Duvall maybe putting down a little bit of a banker for insurance there, and maybe also being patient, letting these tires get some heat in them. They really are pretty worthless for the first lap, if not farther. But right now it is Meyer up top of the 205.7 from Van Wagner, from Duvall, from Clark, from Samudio, and pretty big spread right now among the top runners, and I would expect most of the top 5, 6, 7 to be deep into the 205s by the time the qualifying session is over. Only 5 minutes in now, so 10 remaining. And I would say anybody who wants to give a fresh set of tires a try, probably going to do another lap or two before popping in. But I have noted, Kennen, that these drivers are a little bit shy about pitting during qualifying. So we may or may not see anybody try to get out there on fresh rubber with a lightened fuel load.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We haven't seen it a whole lot this year. The drivers seem to trust the cars, and the further they get into the run, they get a lighter fuel load, and I think they get a little more comfortable with it. They feel that they can push it a little harder than trying to go back out and warm up a new pair of cold tires. So it leaves a lot open. We'll have to see the next set of times coming through. I think we're going to see quite a bit of change ups through the board. And here comes Adam Duvall. We'll see if he can better his time here. It looks like gets through Sunset Blunt a little tighter. So don't know if he came off quite as fast as he wanted, but quite a bit of time to give. And he does improve to third, and Novice jumps ahead of him. Both now they're in the 206s. So still expect fastest time in practice, I believe, was a 205.4. So there's certainly time to find out there. And even Greg Meyer comes across, doesn't better his fast time with just a 206. So there's quite a lot of shifting right now. All through up and down the board, you're starting to see the fast times come in.
Oh, I'm not. I think I just saw tragedy unfolding before my very eyes. Aaron Van Wagner had 3, 4, maybe 5 purple sectors there, and jumps into the pits and kind of threw that lap away. But that's one thing I was going to say when you were talking about the reluctance to go in. Sometimes you got a hot lap going and you want to see what your time is, and you're never going to get that time if you elect to dodge into the pit. So it can be tough to stop for that reason if you got a good one going. But up top, it is still Meyer from Van Wagner from Novice, and I sure would have liked to have seen how that lap of Van Wagner's would have turned out, because his sector display at the bottom of our screen there was purple almost all the way across there. And taking a look at Cy Nathan now, he takes a nice bite out of his time, takes about 2 seconds off, improves to a 2:15. And who has pitted so far? Only Van Wagner. Ken Estep sitting in the pits as well, but he's been sitting there for a while after turning in about a 209 flat. So not sure what is going on with E-Step, maybe getting a last minute wax job going there. But we're about halfway through qualifying. Meyer so far, the only driver into the 205s.
Yeah, it's actually quite shocking that he is the only driver in the 205s. Kind of wonder with Van Wagner whether maybe he was on a fast lap, but he had an off track somewhere and he already knew it was a throwaway lap, because I would think the delta on their steering wheel would have told him not to pit that time if he was as positive as it looked on our screen. So not sure what happened there. Adam Duvall jumping up, improving his time again, a 206.138. So drivers are starting to get where they might teeter over. There's still 6 minutes left in qualifying, so that should be a good 3 laps, hopefully, you would expect. So certainly plenty of opportunities here. It kind of in a way seems like the drivers are just really almost being a little too conservative with their lines right now to maximize the lap time.
You know, it kind of seems that way to me too. These drivers are leaving a lot of time on the table, especially here at Sunset. We'll see what Swanbeck does here. He has got a lot of purple going, and Swanbeck is going to leave it hanging out. There we go. That's what I want to see. That is the exit of turn 17. Swanbeck is going to get pole off of this one. Watch him do it. Oh, and no, he lost 4/10 despite all those purple sectors. So I'm gonna have a chat with the purple man in our timing and scoring. I'm not sure what happened there. Must have had just one horrid sector, but it remains Meyer from Van Wagner, from Duvall, from Guyton, from Novice up top. And we'll jump back on with Duvall here. You see him going through Tower. There we go. That's the exit of that corner. Go ahead and let that car float out there, and we'll hang with Duvall here for a second. He's one of the drivers that I think could be in a position to knock Meyer off a pole with that 205.7. And Duvall, a couple of personal best sectors there and a couple overall best sectors. Those are the purple marks there under his name on the bottom of your screen. Gets a very good exit out of Le Mans, and one more corner here to go. And is it going to be enough to propel Duvall to the top of the timing tower? We'll see in just a moment here. And he's setting up through Sunset, taking that tight inside line, letting that car drift out. I kind of want to see it outside that white line, but not too bad there by Duvall. Let's see what he comes up with. And yeah, he takes a bite out of that time, jumps up into P2, but he's still sitting about 3/10 off of Meyer and just pips Aaron Van Wagner by about 2/100ths of a second. And still got my eye on Duvall. I think he's got some more there, but if these drivers want to threaten Meyer, they're going to have to start taking some chances on these fast corners, rolling the dice, and using up a lot more of this track, Kennen.
Yeah, you've seen everybody's put a lap time down. Just under about 2 laps left in qualifying with just under 4 minutes remaining. I think everybody's just going to have to lay it down, and you either make it or break it, because there's no way you're going to contest Greg Meyer really racing conservative. He put down a really nice hard lap, and Adam Duvall will have to kind of keep up on where he is coming to the back, and Swanbeck jumps up to the second. Still haven't seen anybody break over the 205s except for the Greg Meyer, but we are seeing times improve, and Lloyd Conway with an 11th place on the grid is a little surprising for me, only into the 208s, usually one of the faster drivers in the series. So we'll have to see if he can maybe make up time in his last couple chances or fight himself through the field come race time.
Yeah, and Conway is a guy who could very easily come up at the end with a heater. We've seen him do that multiple times before as we watch Cy Nathan working his way through Sunset. And come on, Nathan, unwind that wheel, let that car drift out to the wall. He says, no thanks, JR. I'm going to keep it nice and safe here in the center track. But look at those intervals. My goodness, Swanbeck from Duvall, 3/100ths. Duvall from Van Wagner, 2/100. So quite a pile up there for P2, and Meyer able to kind of take a breath here. No one's really threatening him. He's still sitting 2,700ths ahead of Swanbeck. But if I was Meyer, I would be laying it all on the line and trying to put down a couple more heaters. There's still time for probably 1 or 2 laps here. These drivers just have to get across start finish before the timer hits 15, and which will extend our qualifying. You see E-Step there off in the grass. That may invalidate his lap. as he sits at a 209 flat still. Has not improved much from the beginning of the session.
Yeah, no, E-Step hasn't. And you see St. Nathan's still 5 seconds off of him. They're actually tied in points going into this final week. So that's quite a tough little competition, even at 15th place. So we'll see what really comes out of it. I think St. Nathan's just taking it very conservative, and we'll kind of see that play its effect in the race too. Drivers will have mistakes here, and like we've noted, they don't have to worry about the damage. The cars will fix themselves, but any off track and spin is a lot of crucial time that you'll lose. A 20-minute race, it's very short. You're not going to have an opportunity, and Swanbeck slams the wall coming out of the final corner, so that's not going to get him to the top of the board. He may just have to take second.
Yeah, Swanbeck accepting my invitation to open up the exit of Sunset and goes a little bit too far, but there's a ton of space out there. They actually moved the wall back several feet to open up that exit of Sunset. So there is a lot there if you're brave enough to dip your toes in that far. And as we're winding down here, Swanbeck is not going to have another opportunity. Duvall on his outlap right now. And let me see where he is on the track. He is not going to make it. He's just approaching Tower now, and he would have to make start finish in about 35 seconds. That is not going to happen. So it looks like Meyer has done what he needed to do. And where is Van Wagner? Can't count him out of this either. And Van Wagner is just coming out of Le Mans right now, and I don't think Van Wagner is going to make it around either. So our starting grid is solidifying here with Meyer riding that early 2057 all the way to the pole. So Meyer got to be feeling good about that.
Yeah, absolutely. He went out early and put down a really good time. The track temperature's actually gone up quite a bit. We were at about 80 degrees at the start of qualifying, and it's now 83 degrees. So drivers are handling a little bit of a slicker track, and we see Jose Navas is absolutely power sliding it all the way through Sunset Bend, and see if that does anything. It probably slows him down with that big of a slide, but really just speaks to how warm the track is starting to get. It's kind of affecting the handling quite a bit on these Formula 4 race cars.
Yeah, and you can really see that detailed weather model that we have here in the simulator. When this session started, track temp was below 80, and it was cloudy. The sun came out, the track started heating up, and you're seeing the result. We're getting a little bit greasy here down the stretch, and my screen has kind of stopped here, but I think we're reaching the end of qualifying. We're going to get this one underway in just a moment.
Yeah, it looks like Checker's out. I don't think we'll see any other fight on Greg Meyer. He's definitely going to lock down the pole here. Guyton coming around to finish up a time, but it looks like he's not really outperformed any sector. So we'll see if he improves at all. And he does improve up to third. That's a pretty big jump to get over Adam Duvall. So actually quite a good lap, even though it looked like maybe at the end of that lap he was sliding a little bit. Maybe could have been a little more time to find. It's a pretty good little separation between the top five right now. They're all real nice and tight together. It's going to be a pretty good race coming up.
Yeah, look at those qualifying times, 5/10 separating P1 through P6 there. And that's why Guyton was able to jump up there at the end. All he needed was a couple ticks, and he got him out of one sector. So that is going to round up our qualifying. We'll have your starting grid for you here in a second, and Meyer has done it. I'm not sure if that is his first pole of the season. He's usually at the pointy end, but I'm sure he's feeling pretty good about starting our season finale in P1.
Yeah, taking a quick glance. He's had a couple second place starts, but not been on the pole yet at all this season. So really well done performance to get on the pole for the final race of this season at Sebring. So I know I'll be happy with that. That's a lot of momentum moving forward. And I think we've seen quite a bit of growth throughout the entire field. Obviously, Joshua Leslie, very dominant this year and moving on to Formula 3, but a lot of the drivers have all seen quite a bit of improvement. And I think that's really building a lot of momentum getting into next week, which is only a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, they really have. And a tip of the hat to Sim Racers Group and its owner and manager, Jason Cotcher. They have put together a fantastic developmental ladder here in Sim Racers Group, starting in F4, the pointy end of the F4, field was split off into F3 at the beginning of this season. Those races are spectacular. If you're not doing anything tomorrow night, join us back here at the same time, and we'll be showing you those F3 cars take on Road America. That is going to be a barn burner. But back to the Sim Racers group, they really have gotten something nice going here. They have a nice community. They have a facility there in San Jose where they actually gather together and compete on 10 sim rigs there in-house, along with the people who are logging in remotely. But here comes your starting grid. It is Meyer will line up next to Swanbeck. Swanbeck with a pretty good showing in qualifying. That may be his best qualifying showing so far this season. Then it's Guyton next to Duvall. Van Wagner will line up next to Navas in row 3. Then it's Michael Huynh next to Edgar Lau. Then Dan Clark next to Conway Vase next to Embriette Hyde in row 6. Then Ken Glasser next to Rudy Sumudio. Then Estep will line up next to Cy Nathan in row 8 there. And I'll tell you, Kennen, I'm going to be keeping an eye on a couple drivers here. Conway, I think, is going to move up. And we have seen Embriette Hyde just through driving frosty, driving consistently and keeping out of trouble. We've seen her move up in almost every race. And if she picks up a couple, she's going to gain a position on the season as well. So I know her fans are excited about the progress that she's made. So we'll keep an eye on how she does here starting in P12. And we are going to have Meyer in the front here. We'll have the inside run into turn 1. And again, no nannies on these cars, no anti-lock brakes, no traction control. And we're starting on cold tires. So job 1 is going to be to get these things off the line and then get them through that bumpy turn 1 and down into that tough 3, 4, 5 complex. And here we go. The season finale of F4 is underway. Pretty good start by Meyer. He's going to move over a little, try to keep Swanbeck from sneaking around the outside. Swanbeck still looking, though. It's Swanbeck by a nose here around the outside. Outside move is doable here, but risky as Swanbeck dangerously close to the grass. Meyer still has an opportunity here to defend the inside of turn 3, but Swanbeck, an excellent start, takes Meyer on the outside of turn 1, makes it stick through turn 3, and is going to head down into the turn 7 hairpin in P1 on lap 1.
Yeah, it's certainly been noted with Dan Swanbeck, especially at the opening starts of these races. Highly aggressive driver. He certainly leaves no inch spared, and he wants to make an advantage of anything he can. And Greg Meyer sends it just maybe making a look there. He decides to kind of hold it back, but hairpin is a good opportunity. But as you noted, you've really got to send it to get underneath. And Swanbeck with just a fantastic start. Meyer's got Guyton all over his rear. See if he makes a move going up into tower.
Yeah, and Guyton not shy at all either. And these drivers know this is not a big field here. And Van Wagner, Mickey Mousing around there, going through Cunningham, gets a little loose, keeps it out of the grass, and keeps it moving. But that's going to cost Van Wagner 3 positions now, as that is Dan Clark, who has pushed his way down the inside. And Swanbeck now has developed a pretty good gap. He's got about a quarter of a second back to Meyer, who has a quarter of a second back to Guyton. And, Guyton almost with a little smooch there, and that's a little pack forming. Swanbeck from Meyer, from Guyton, from Jose Navas. Navas going a little wide there. Rolling the dice out of Lamont, and we'll head down the Ullman Straight for the first time. There is a big draft back here, Kennen, and Meyer is moving way over, wanting to cover the inside, or that's Swanbeck rather, going to leave the outside open for Meyer. And oh my goodness, very aggressive turn in by Meyer. There may have been a little wheel-to-wheel contact there, and that is going to cost Meyer P2, sending Guyton up to the second step on the podium. Now it's Swanbeck from Guyton from Meyer, and somebody's fallen there. I saw somebody up against the wall. We'll get back to that, but lap 1 did not disappoint, Kennen, and we're only 2 minutes into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic stuff right there. I know there was certainly some contact. How that didn't send Greg Meyer spinning off the track through Sunset Bend just has me quite baffled, but does a fantastic job and only loses 1 position. They're still nose to tail through the top 5 right now. So everybody's kind of really setting up, taking advantage of the draft. It's going to be really hard to pull away. And there's Aaron Van Wagner off the track again. He's got himself stuck in between the gate of the fencing there. So going to cost him a lot of time, and he'll drop to the back of the field. But we're seeing really close racing through everywhere. And there's Guyton getting a little loose in hairpin, and I think Greg Meyer's going to go back to second. Really opens the door for Swanbeck to get a gap.
Meyer stuffs it down the inside of the hairpin, drifting the night away, and squeaks it past Guyton. And I'll tell you, he wants to take Novice with him here, and Guyton is going to ease a tiny bit ahead through Cunningham as they go through this difficult section, heading toward Tower. And there is some mad dicing going on up front. And speaking of not up front, Aaron Van Wagner DFLing it currently, which stands for definitely far from the lead. Van Wagner with an error there. You saw him go off, and he has got his work cut out for him, falling all the way to P16. And the battle continues up front. That's Meyer from Novice, from Guyton, from Duvall. And Conway is sniffing around back there. He has already pushed his way up, and look at Conway. Stuff it past Adam Duvall. Conway up 5. I told you to keep an eye on him. He is not going to lay down for that bad qualifying. And Conway going through the field now like a hot knife through butter, and watch that draft go to work on the Ullman Straight. And Guyton is going to try the inside line here. And is he going to be able to make something happen as Novice washes out? This time around, it's going to be Swanbeck from Guyton, from Meyer, from Novice, and Duvall will follow them up, and Conway is wanting to get involved in this one as well. And look at that 6-car train.
Yeah, it's an absolute mad dash to decide who's going to get second. We're still got just over 15 minutes remaining. You see just how hairy these moves being made already are. It's by far, Jose Novice really was looking to be the hard charger, getting himself into second place. It was such a fantastic lap and really threw it all away there, getting through the final corners. So it's going to be quite a challenge for everybody. You see there is getting a little bit of separation. Greg Meyer, our pole sitter, he feels like he ought to have the fastest time. He clearly was in qualifying, and right now he's finding himself in such a dogfight. It's really throwing away a chance to make a run at Dan Swanbeck for the lead. And I know Swanbeck's keeping an eye on his mirror, and he's seeing everybody else get smaller and smaller. It's certainly working to his advantage that they're having such a dogfight for second place right now. I don't know. Greg Meyer's going to have to maybe even be a little more aggressive to get second place back, and maybe he can start to break away and make a run for Swanbeck.
Yeah, Guyton the cork in the bottle right now, and Swanbeck is absolutely thrilled with what he sees in his rearview mirror and on his relative. He has dropped Guyton to the tune of 2 seconds here, and just a little reminder, folks, as I go back to dead horse speeding, you see the way Guyton is absolutely flogging the wheels off of that F4 car. Kennen, you and I have watched enough of these races to know you cannot do that for 20 minutes. It is not sustainable, particularly at a track like Sebring that chews off the tires. So, and here comes Conway now. Conway's going to try to stick it inside that lucky 13 car. Doesn't quite get that done going through Le Mans, but he is on the Ullman Straight in the draft of Duvall. See if he can get something going. Jumping back on with Meyer now. Meyer has got to run. Meyer is going to have the inside of Sunset, and Guyton this time is going to give that one up without much of a fight. And now Guyton has got to keep his eye behind on Novice, Duvall, and Conway continuing his charge. Conway all over Duvall like the plastic on grandma's couch. But wait, here comes Guyton. Is he going to roll the dice into turn 1? Maybe. Oh, just shows his nose. Wisely probably backs out of it. But man, oh man, Kennen, picture yourself a humble tire on any one of these front 5 cars, and they are suffering with my goodness, 13 minutes remaining. They will never last to the end, being asked to do what they're being asked to do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All the rubber's just screaming out there right now. Guyton has certainly seemed to maybe put the most stress on his tires. He certainly had a lot of sliding. He's gonna maybe make another look at Greg Meyer. I was thinking maybe they almost touch. It looks like they'll get through. Okay, Meyer's going to have to go wide to get through the corner, but it's worth noting Swanbeck, I think, is having some issues up front. He's lost about a second off of his lead, even through all this fighting. Some of it was through the Ullman Straight where the draft is so effective. Swanbeck's got no help out there. And you see Greg Meyer is up there, and you've got 4 different cars all wanting to take the lead right away. So we're looking at quite a good battle here.
Yeah, here comes Novice now. Novice almost had something going against Guyton there. Guyton manages to hold him off, and another pretty good battle here between Duvall and Lloyd Conway. Conway's already moved up 5, although he dropped one of those. He's now up 4. But Oh my goodness, there is someplace you hardly ever see side by side. That is Guyton and Novice going at it, and Novice manages to push his way through, and now it is Jose Novice in the third step on the podium, taking advantage of all that fighting ahead. Kennen, you got to think that Guyton didn't do his tires any favor when he needed him to defend against Novice. There was nothing left, and there goes Novice, now looking ahead at Greg Meyer. He's got about a 3-second gap up to Meyer.
Yeah, he's started to kind of pull away and also chase down Meyer a little bit. Novice is showing some speed here as we're just getting to the halfway point of the race. Guyton's still got some time. He's got speed still. He's not that far off of the track, but he's got to get himself a couple laps where he really manages the tires well, gets the temps a little more back under control so he can put a little bit more of a fight towards the front. Greg Meyer has actually kind of given up quite a bit, and Swanbeck has put him all the way back to a 1.5 gap now. So Swanbeck's found some speed. I think he is having the opportunity to manage his tires. He's not having to push it too hard right now. And when he sees everybody behind him fighting the way they are, it's really gearing him up for a really nice run these last 11 minutes to see the checkered flag.
Whatever little bobble or error that Swanbeck committed that let Meyer get back to him, he's managed to extend that lead back to 1.5 seconds, which is where he wants it. When they get back on that back Ullman straightaway, he does not want to give anybody a toe behind. And Swanbeck looking good, sitting pretty right now. And how about Jose Novice? Will Novice have a crack at Meyer? He was in the popcorn seat watching Meyer and Guyton and Duvall blow the tires off of those F4 cars while he was watching, taking it easy and saving his tires. And we may see that pay dividends for him as P2 definitely within reach. And, that gap up to Swanbeck has fallen to a second. Again, it is conceivable that Novice could push his way all the way up to his first victory of the season if he's managed his tires that much better than the cars in front.
Yeah, Novice certainly has a lot of speed right now, but he has to be very strategic in how he makes his pass. The Ullman Straight's such a good opportunity to get the draft, but the consequence is when you get by, you're really allowing Greg Meyer with the opportunity to get you back going into one. If he has the speed that he thinks he has in the car, I think it's best try and make a harder move somewhere around the hairpin, maybe even earlier into the lap, but you don't want to give a chance where the toe can really negate your run. Try and find that raw speed to break a little gap and a run towards Dan Swanbeck.
Yeah, too right, Kennen. And I'll tell you, I've got many green flags out here, almost as many checkers. And I'll tell you, there is a psychological component here at Sebring. We may see it here in turn one. If you show your nose here, you can scare the guy on the outside. And let's see if Novice can make it work for him. And Meyer says, hell no, I'm running to the border. I ain't scared. Off in the dirt. But you can really force an error there. It's a very nerve-wracking corner. It's even more nerve-wracking when there's a car next to you or sniffing right up behind you. And Novice, a little bit slippy there, a little bit slidey, and has let Guyton back into it. So now Novice has got to keep his eye back to Guyton. That's only about 2/10, riding along with Guyton now, heading down into the hairpin. Guyton will show his nose, and will he press it? No. Backs out of it, and it is still Swanbeck from Meyer, from Novice, from Guyton, from Duvall, and that distance between Meyer and Swanbeck has closed down again. It is 0.6 now. So Meyer now well within drafting distance of Swanbeck in the lead every time it looks like Swanbeck is going to drive away. I don't know what's going on up there. Either Meyer is picking up little bursts of speed or Swanbeck doesn't like driving without somebody in the lead. And I know that feeling very well. It's sometimes easier to go faster following, but my goodness, look at that train, Kennen. Those front four cars covered by about 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, and track temp's only getting hotter and hotter. We're at 84 degrees, so there's certainly a little more slipperiness. And Jose Novice just with an absolute sin. Thankfully, no contact, but he is certainly pushing everything out of this car. He's not getting it too loose and sliding it, but he's certainly driving it tough into the entries. And Meyer's going to make a look at Swanbeck going down the Ullman Straight, so it is looking like he's electing to take the outside, which is quite a risky move. But I'm not sure what's going on with Dan Swanbeck. I thought maybe it was just a little bit of a mishap in turn one, and an absolutely brilliant move by Greg Meyer to go for the lead on the outside. Just it's a commitment issue to go through 17, and Greg Meyer's proved he's fully committed to getting the lead.
And folks, that takes practice. Meyer, I told you there's a million lines through turn 17, but not really great to improvise. You got to have them down ahead of time. And Meyer showing you there, he knows how to take that wide line around turn 17, made that pass on Swanbeck in an epic move that puts Meyer back into P1. It's Meyer from Swanbeck, from Guyton, from Duvall, from Jose Navas. And look at those intervals, folks. The yellow ones are between half a second and a second, and Navas up to Duvall, that is orange. That means it's less than 0.5. And is Navas going to try to make something happen here? Duvall will cover the inside of the hairpin. The outside pass here, though, doable. And you can get a pretty good drive around the outside, as Navas is doing there, and hanging side by side, and some pretty respectful driving there. Navas probably could have pressed that a little more, but respecting Duvall and giving him space. But the politeness has gone in Cunningham. And oh my goodness, and there's a kerfuffle up front. Meyer is way off. Swanbeck and Guyton are going to get through, and we'll show you that again. Not sure what happened with Meyer. May have gone wide in Cunningham, but right now it is Swanbeck from Guyton, from Meyer, from Duvall, from Navas with 6 minutes remaining.
Yeah, it looked like, I don't know if there was something on the track, but both Greg Meyer and Dan Swanbeck both get a little hot and just slide right off the corner, and it was no real contact involved there, but the top two just overdriving the car. You see just how tough these cars are to drive, and when you're really pushing and getting everything you want out of the car, very easy to find yourself offline. So they're thankful to have not really gotten too hurt there with loss of positions and all. They got back going right away, but Swanbeck takes the lead away from Greg Meyer, and now Greg Meyer's back into the same dogfight he's been having to deal with all race long, with Guyton making a look for the lead now. So everything's really heating up. Just over 5 minutes to go. This is really crunch time. Just about 3 laps remaining.
Man, we could not hope for a better finale. Look at this. 5 minutes left. It is Swanbeck from Guyton, from Greg Meyer. And my goodness, that incident going into Cunningham, crazy stuff. Both drivers, Meyer overcooked that entry, and it's so easy to follow somebody who makes a mistake like that. And almost 3 wide into turn 3. Swanbeck from Meyer, from Guyton, and look at Navas push past Duvall, and Lloyd Conway says, hello, I'm still here, see you later, number 13, your luck has run out. And Conway has now pushed his way up into P5, and this one is not over, folks. Look at those intervals. 0.1 between Swanbeck and Meyer. 0.2 to Guyton in the next car. Guyton will try the outside of the hairpin. No positions changed there, but the fight is on.
Yeah, they're just going after it right now. This is like it's the last lap, but there's still 3 laps to go. Everybody wants the lead, and they want it now. It's really opened up the door for Conway and even Navas, who had fallen back just a couple laps ago. He's right back in the hunt now. You see him all nose to tail, the top 5, and just the way they're racing right now, it's going to come down to who can keep it on the track, not make a mistake. We've seen them race very respectfully so far. No contact in this kind of series is really acceptable, but I expect we'll start seeing some wheels maybe begin to touch here as we're getting to the final stretch. This has been really, really good racing.
Fantastic stuff here at Sebring, and fans of that blue car sitting in 4th, that number 4 car sitting in P4. Oh, and the commentators curse. I hope he does not get a slowdown from that, because Navas has broken in to the 205s, has set the fast lap of the field as a 205.9. And here is Meyer. He's going to have the inside run into Sunset. Swanbeck leaves that open with Guyton sniffing around to pick up the pieces if something goes wrong. And Guyton is going to stick it inside of Swanbeck here. Guyton rolling the dice on the super bumpy inside of turn 17, and now it's Meyer from Swanbeck from Guyton, and Swanbeck and Meyer almost side by side again going into turn 1. 3 minutes remaining. I'm going to say that there's 2 more laps in this one, and look at Meyer testing the outside line into turn 1. He is the king of the outside line at Sebring, and look at those cars. 4/10 separate all 3 of those. That is your podium for now with 2 laps remaining.
And you see Jose Navas just doesn't want to let that top 3 get away, and top 2 starting to separate themselves. But this is still very much anybody's race. It's all one little mishap away from really watching the top 5 flip order again. And I think we'll see Meyer maybe make a look here. He thinks better of it. I think he's going to try and make sure he maintains the momentum. I think he likes his opportunity of maybe breaking away, just having it be a 2-car race for the finish.
Wow, and look at those intervals. Look at all those amber and yellow intervals between the top 6 cars as the fight continues. This is probably the penultimate lap right here. I'm guessing. Oh, and there goes Swanbeck. And I told you folks that tire bug was going to bite somebody, and it bit Swanbeck right there, the same place that Meyer went off on the previous lap. That will knock Swanbeck all the way down into P4 after all of that hard work and hardly any time left. And Swanbeck, probably a little heated right now, needs to think about what he's doing as he's challenging Navis in a section of the track what usually passes aren't made. And Swanbeck says, JR, mind your own damn business. I'm going for it. Gets by temporarily, but Navis gets back through, and Conway's got to be loving what he's seeing, and so does Adam Duvall. If something goes wrong up front, your new podium in waiting is right there, that number 4, number 77, and number 13 car. And what is going to happen this time through Sunset? Conway with the twofer. Oh, almost. Oh my goodness. That was going to be the move of the race. But Conway did get 1 position out of that. Conway is now up 6, sitting in P4. I am not believing this one, Kennen. This is awesome.
Yeah, I don't think the way they just went across the line is how they'll be going across it the next time by. And a very deep send. Adam Duvall's found his way to recover. It's amazing. It seems like we've written off so many drivers, mistake after mistake, and here they all are. They've all got an opportunity to maybe get themselves a step on the podium. Greg Myers holding off Jacob Guyton right now, but I know he had quite a good toe getting down the backstretch, so they're 1 step away from being right there. And Guyton's got a good run right now. I don't think he'll be able to make a move into this corner, but Guyton can certainly set himself up for a chance to maybe get a last corner pass.
And what do you do right here, Kennen? Do you take it down a notch and pat yourself on the back for a hard one, P2, or do you roll the dice and go for glory here in the final lap? The white flag is out. It is Meyer from Guyton from Navis, and then Conway and Swanbeck will round out the top 5. And let's not forget Adam Duvall right there as well in P6. Anything could happen right here, folks. And Conway proved that, almost getting a twofer with a crazy dive down the inside of Sunset. And that may have emboldened him for this lap. I'll be keeping an eye on that red 77 car. And Meyer building a pretty good gap here. It's got about a half second to Guyton. Guyton needs to reel this down before the straightaway, or Meyer is going to have an easy drive away to victory here. He's got it down to about 0.4, and keep an eye on that interval. Looks like Meyer gets a little better drive, but goes wide into the grass. Guyton's going to have a chance here. Meyer will move over to try to cover the inside, and it's too late. Guyton will drive past him like he's pulling an anchor. Meyer dipping in the grass there coming out of Le Mans, and that is going to cost him victory. And Guyton has done it here. He just has to hang on. And there goes Meyer. Meyer's tires have checked out, and Meyer is out. It's Guyton from Navis, from Swanbeck on your podium. And holy cow, I need a beverage, and I need one right now. What a race.
Absolutely thrilling race. I can't believe that's the end of the season right there. That's such a good note to put it on. I know all the drivers, I'm sure Greg Myers a little frustrated, threw away the second step of the podium on the last corner, but you got to do what you got to do. It's the last week. You've got to make a chance, and you want to end on that positive note with the victory. And just an absolute brilliant run by Jacob Guyton. We were talking about how it seemed like he was the most sliding around, really abusing the tires, and by the end of 20 minutes, he kind of proved he had the best car of the field. So that was really well done, well timed. Didn't let the race get away from him, and just an absolutely fantastic finish to the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 Series. Just, I can't wait to get the next season started already. That's just brilliant stuff.
That was insane, and we'll have the final results for you in a second. But I want to point out your winner, Guyton, is up 2. Your P2 driver, Jose Navas, is up 4. and your P4 driver, Lloyd, he wants me to call him Lord, Lloyd Conway, is up 6. So that is 12 positions gained for the people that made it up into the top 4. And that is a hell of a drive by a big handful of these F4 drivers. And really, hats off to Sim Racers Group for another fantastic season of Formula 4 racing. Hats off to these competitors. My, oh my, what a phenomenal showing we had here at Sebring. Really a great capper for a season that has been tremendous.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing we talk about just the community it is with the Sim Racers Group. Some people are in-house. You do see just how heated the racing gets, but that is just some of the most respectful racing you can really find in any kind of league or really anywhere in the service, in my opinion. That was really well done. A lot of give and take. Drivers knew when they made mistakes. You can't just go barreling through and smashing into everybody. That's just not the way to do it right. So really well done throughout the whole field and just the entire season. That's just the kind of high level class of racing you get in the Sim Racers Group Formula 4 series.
Unreal. And Guyton is going to finish off what's left of those rags that are on the back of that. And I'll tell you, we saw Guyton hanging that car sideways from lap 1. And somehow he made the rear tires of that car hang on to the end. Unbelievable drive. But it is Guyton, Jose Navas in P2, Dan Swanbeck after some epic fighting in P3. Then it's Conway and Adam Duvall and Greg Meyer under attack for the majority of that one. His tires finally failed him there in Sunset. He falls to P6. Then it's Michael Wynn in P7. Edgar Lau will finish in P8. Vase in P9. I told you Hyde was going to move up. She did. That is 2 positions up into P10, and that may move her up in the championship. I think she needed a P10 to pass the competitor in front of her, and I think she might have pulled that off. Then it is Aaron Van Wagner, who was kind of doing a makeup drive from DFL in it from that early mistake. Then it's Samudio from Ken Glasser. Ken Estep will be in P14. Then Dan Clark, and then Cy Nathan bringing up the rear in P16. And I'm going to try to organize my thoughts here and see if I can see who is waiting to get in. And my Discord skills have completely failed. All right, and we have got the winner, Jacob Guyton. And Jacob, holy cow. I don't even know where to begin the questioning. I am still adrenalized from watching all 20 minutes of that race. That was absolutely insane. And you started in P3, moved up 2 to take the win. A lot of the guys who started up near you, Swanbeck, Duvall, Meyer, Van Wagner, had various grip issues that sent them off the track, caused mistakes. And I'll tell you, I was watching you early. You were flogging the hell out of that thing. And I was saying, you know, you can't drift through every corner for 20 minutes. The tires are not going to last. Somehow you made it happen. So tell us how, what kind of magical juju you put on that Formula 4 car to make those tires last for 20 minutes of hard flogging.
Yeah, I don't know. Just keeping it clean as much as I can, trying to stay out of the way, trying to give people room, and just trying to push it as hard as I can, and taking advantage of where I know people were kind of messing up a little bit. But yeah, the car just held up really, really good for me. My pedals, my feet were talking my brain the whole time, and yeah, drive felt great tonight.
Well, it was absolutely outstanding, and you're going to bookmark this broadcast and send it to everybody for the next couple years. Probably, I certainly would if I were you. But man, oh man, what a way to finish up the season! And I know that we just finished a 12-week season. We got week 13 ahead, but looking forward to 2025 season 4. What are your thoughts about the next F4 season? You must be looking forward to it after tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to it. I found myself starting to battle with some of the guys towards the top. Still out of reach for some of them. I've gotten, I'd say, lucky here or there, but just I'm looking forward to more battles with everyone in the league, whether it be rookie series or F4, or maybe if I dabble in the F3, we'll see. But yeah, I'm just looking for more driving with everyone because it's just such a good time.
Well, I'll tell you, it is great to watch. You guys obviously have a great culture and a great group there. And it has been a pleasure to kind of hang around on the periphery. And I'm looking forward to joining you guys down there in San Jose here in 2 short weeks. So looking forward to
Oh
getting
yeah,
down there,
yeah.
checking out the facility, meeting everybody. But as we wrap up, Jacob, first of all, congratulations again. It was hard to describe how epic that race is, and you'll understand when you see the broadcast when we get done here. But as we wrap up, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to today?
Yeah, look forward to seeing you and meeting you and racing alongside you. And it definitely felt epic. That race it felt the best out of everything and out of every race I've done this season. Um, and yeah, as for giving thanks, thank you thank you to my girlfriend who watches every race, as well as my dad who watches every race, and thank you to everyone in SRG for supporting everyone else, and Jason and Tyler and Alex and everybody that just make the experience so worthwhile. Um, and thank you guys for being able to put on the show for us and let our family members and our friends watch. It's super, super cool to be able to link your guys' stream to families and friends and say, hey, come watch me race.
Awesome. All right, Jacob. Well, congratulations again on an incredible drive. Thank you so much for stopping by, and look forward to seeing you here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, looking
All right,
forward to it.
peace.
Thanks.
All right, that was your winner, Jacob Guyton. And let's go ahead and bring in Dan Swanbeck. Dan, you have podiumed in the most epic Sim Racers Group Formula 4 race in history. This one is going to go down as an all-time classic. So I'll just give you the floor and share with our audience what it was like to be involved in that scrap up front.
Man, no kidding, right? I mean, honestly, just from the very get-go, that was so much fun. I had hoped to get out front and maybe put some space in between me and the rest of the guys, but they just kept coming, and maybe I was too busy looking behind, so they reeled me back in. And after that, it was just a matter of getting each corner right. Everybody was capitalizing on any mistake, and that just caused us to kind of accordion back and forth. But man, what a bunch of fun! And this track is so good for drafting, and the straights are frightening when you get a bad exit. So yeah, just a ton of fun for sure.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and I know that you're going to enjoy rewatching the replay after we're done here. It was tremendous. One of the best races I've ever had the pleasure to watch or to call. So congratulations really to everybody who participated in that one. It was amazing. But as we wrap up, Dan, is there anyone you would like to thank or give a shout out to today?
Yeah, I definitely want to give a big shout out to Jacob for pulling that one off. Jose was right there as well. Also apologies to Adam. I think I cut in front of you on the straight. I didn't see you. Apologize for that. But lastly, yeah, big thanks to my mom and dad for watching at home, and Jason Cotcher for making all this possible.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan. And we will look forward to seeing you 2025 season 4 in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All righty. Take care. And Kennen, I will go ahead and hand over to you, our P7 finisher, Michael Huynh.
Yes. Yeah, Michael Huynh finished where you started in P7. I'm sure you had a fantastic view of the race in front of you, but still a really well done job. How would you really sum up today's race as well as just the season overall?
I'm getting a lot better with the F4 car. I'm super happy with my P7 finish today. It's also my first 0x race. Yeah, great way to end the season.
Yeah, that's actually very worth noting. No incidents at such a difficult track like Sebring. We saw so many cars of the field run off through the grass somewhere, even if they were keeping the wheels straight. So that's a very well done drive, and we've certainly noted all throughout the season the improvement you as well as the rest of the field have made. Looking into next season, though, what are your kind of goals? Where do you expect to see yourself just a couple weeks when we start season 4?
I'm planning to go do a little bit less official races and put more time in practice for the league, and hoping I can do a little bit better.
Yeah, that's certainly the seat time, I think, is what makes it so important. And just through all the 12 weeks we have, everybody gets a lot of seat time between the hour and a half with the practice and the race and all. So we're really looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. And before we get moving here, anybody you'd like to thank, give a shout out to having this opportunity to race today.
Oh yeah, shout out to Jason and everyone at SRG for fun, clean racing. Shout out to Slow Motion Broadcasting for making this even more enjoyable every Tuesday and Wednesday night. Appreciate all of you.
Oh, well, thank you. And we're not able to do it without the show that you guys put on. And it's an excellent show to see every single week. So thank you, Michael Wynn. Really well done season. Look forward to seeing you in the next season. And best of luck, man. Enjoy the off week.
Thank you.
That was Michael Wynn finishing in P7, and another driver who we've seen slowly making improvements throughout the season. And as I said, this is a developmental league, and they have done a fantastic job. If today's spectacle was any indication. But last but not least, let's go ahead and bring in the captain, the evil genius behind everything that you have seen here today, the season and this tremendous season finale here at Sebring. Jason, what a race today. And I'll just give you the floor to share what thoughts you'd like to share about 2025 season 3 in Formula 4.
Yeah, great guys. Really appreciate the community. I'm a proud papa kind of sim racing at this point to have seen some of these guys come from Formula Ford and graduate into F4. A bit of a tough start for some of them when we had 30 car fields for them to stretch their legs and get their own space to be able to fight like that. But was very fortunate to have people to build an F3 league and then kind of give the plants room to grow here in F4. So yeah, fantastic race, and what a lead in for next season. We'll be really looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to that as well. My goodness. And we are a little short on time, Jason, so we're going to have to let you go. But thanks so much for stopping by and joining us. Thanks so much for rolling the dice on this business and starting Sim Racers Group. It has been a joy to watch your community and watch your drivers improving steadily week after week. And we here at Slow Motion Broadcasting are greatly looking forward to seeing what is in store for next season.
Yeah, great. Thanks, guys. One last thing, we always give away the Billy Award at the end of the season with the Sim Racers Group. Lost a good friend at the end of February, and he really represented class and respectful racing. And it's fun to give away a trophy that doesn't have anything to do with finishing order of the race. And this season's F4 award goes to Ken Glasser, who just embodies that perfectly. Super proud of him and grateful to have him in the community and SMB as a whole. You guys are awesome. We're grateful for it, and we can't wait for next season. Thank you so much.
All right, and we will be here. That is Sim Racers Group, Jason Cotcher. And folks, we are not just about this fantastic Sim Racers Group competition, although tomorrow night we will stay with Sim Racers Group for week 12 of F4 competition, or F3 competition rather, at Road America. Then on Saturday, Weekend Warriors Formula V's will visit Donington Park in the UK, and Ron's Race Nights will return to Elkhart Lake for iRacing official top split action in Formula C. I think I used up all my syllables earlier. Sunday kicks off a Weekend Warriors double feature as Spec Racer Ford's Throwdown at Navarra and Formula Fords will battle at Donington. So, oh my goodness. Thank you so much for joining us, folks. I am J.R. Gregory on behalf of myself, my partner, Kennen Miller, our producer, Marty Czekala, and everyone here at SMB. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are, and look at the bright side. At least it ain't Monday.